Well, happy Thursday, everyone. This is JoJo Bennington. Thank you so much for being here on our Empowering Healthy Women's Thursday 30-minute check-in. And really, we do this every week to connect our sisterhood community to talk about things that are important to us. And, sometimes the guys just don't care about the things that are important to us, and that's okay. We still love them anyway, but it's a good space for us to be able to chat with each other and really talk about the things that are important to us. And thank you, Kim. My friend, Miss Liddy Flom, and I, a few weeks ago, I think we're like on the 14th week of doing this, but we got together, there's Miss Liddy, which we got together and we're chatting about how we could support our sisterhood community. And we really just said, let's create a space where we could get together every week and talk about things that matter to us, from, motherhood to menopause and all the things in between. And sometimes it'll be physical health, sometimes mental health. Who knows what we might talk about? And so a couple of weeks ago, we invited on my amazing friend, Rhonda Collier, who started us talking about anxiety, because one of the girls in the group said, please, can we talk about anxiety? And Rhonda gave us some great tips. So if anybody wants to go back and listen to that, it's posted in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, please reach out or ask to join Empowering Healthy Women, or reach out to me and I'll get you added in. But all of the calls are archived there. And so I feel like that, it was a great tool that she gave us. And I know that our amazing guest tonight, who is one of my partners in life and business, we have co-partnered in the Up Retreats, which is a women's empowerment retreat. She's a certified life coach. She's getting her master's in family therapy. Is that what? Am I saying that right? You can correct me when you come back on. But she is also the founder of Discovering Your Voice. And she is just a master at helping us tap into what's going on in that crazy monkey inside of our head, and helping us get around those thought processes. And so my amazing friend, who, manages all of these things and 5 children, and a husband that's crazy on the road all the time. And she's been traveling all over the world herself. And so I'm happy we get 30 minutes with her. So I'm going to shut up and bring you on, Cary. Let me see. I'll unmute you. Okay. There you go. Hey, you.
Hi. Thank you, JoJo, and everybody. I love seeing everybody's faces. And I love that you and Liddy Power are partnered up to do this. And every week, I think I'm going to get on this week. And every week, I'm just happy that I was able to arrange this to be on and talk to you a little bit. And I'll just tell you that, first of all, thank you for, being a part of my journey and a part of my life all the time. Like, I always know that I can count on JoJo, and that's part of being able to manage life and enjoy life. We talk, there's a lot about motivation, about getting things done in life, and finding the motivation from within, because if we're always looking to the external to get us motivated, then, then we won't. There will be a time when our external world will fail on us, and then what will we do? How will we keep going forward if we don't have our own internal motivation? That being said, we still need our external motivation. We still need our girlfriends. We still need our tribe, our community. We need our accountability partners. We need those people, because not only does it help us when, we're feeling that light maybe go out, or help us to remember where it is that we're going, but it's so much more fun, right? And JoJo, I've had so much fun being able to be a part of your life and journey, and being able to, be your little sister or big sister. I don't know which one I am, big or little. I'm taller. Anyway, my hair's bigger, I think. Anyways, so yeah, anxiety and working through that is one of my favorite topics. But the thing about it is, if, at least in my mind, when I would sit in my school classes and we'd talk about anxiety, and I would think, oh, how sad, that would be so hard to deal with anxiety. And the more that I've been on my journey, and the more that I've realized how many fears I've had inside of myself, mostly of myself and of my presence in the world, I realized, my goodness, anxiety is my middle name. And I think sometimes we look at anxiety as this big outside thing, and we experience it, we don't realize it. And so when we don't realize what's going on inside of us, we don't know how to manage it. We don't know how to deal with it. And so we'll stop ourselves from moving forward. Even if there's something that we really, really want, there's this thing inside of us that won't let us do it. And I've come to know that as my good friend, anxiety. And I think to a point, it's actually a really powerful tool when we learn to manage it. There is, levels of clinical anxiety that are really debilitating. And I'm not really necessarily speaking of that. However, the proven tools to deal with that clinical anxiety are the same tools that I'm going to give us now. It's just easier for us to manage it when it's not at that debilitating point. So anyway, just that being said, these tools will work for anybody, and it's been clinically and empirically proven. I didn't realize that, but it's what I've been doing this whole time. And when I learned it on paper and in a textbook and in school, I was like, oh my goodness, that's what I've been doing this whole time. So here we go. We have these fears that stop us, and I don't even think we always realize them as fears either. Like 5 years ago, JoJo, or you would have asked me what I was afraid of. I would have said, I don't think I'm afraid of anything. I'm the one in my family that kills the spiders. Everyone is like, no! I'm like, okay, where is it? And I'll either kill it or I'll take it out. I'm the one that, you take me to any foreign city and I'll walk down the streets. I'm not afraid of people. I just will talk to anyone, that kind of a thing. But when it came to letting myself be seen, to being vulnerable, to allowing myself to feel good about myself, that was really scary to me. And to be, to shine and to speak my voice was very scary to me. And the more I realized that I was afraid of myself, the more I realized I was afraid of myself. And it was just time to make a decision on, do I want to stay this way, or do I want to make a difference? Do I want to make a change in my own life so that I can actually live the life I want to live and be the person I want to be? And a lot of times we're looking outside of ourselves, again, because we do live in a world with other people. And a lot of people everybody has a gift. Everybody has a gift. And a lot of times we compare our lack of Sorry, my daughter just tried to call me. Let me mute that out. Anyway, we compare our weaknesses to somebody else's strengths. I don't like to use those words. I'm still trying to find the right words to use it. What I have found is that I'm going to finish this, and I have to just tell my daughter where I am. So I'm here with my daughter, Arielle, and she's actually going to be a part of what I'm talking about, and she's ready to go. So I'm just going to let her know where I am. But stay just for once. I'm just going to text her. Sorry. One sec.
It's totally okay. They're at her grandkids play. So, and she's there with her daughter, Arielle. So we appreciate you taking your time away from your little family thing to hang out with us for a half an hour.
Oh, sorry. And it was, Arielle's been in the hospital and home, and she needed to get out. So she arranged this little meeting to come with my grandkids to the Dickens Festival. So we're here, and I guess her energy has run out. So she's been texting me to find me. So anyway, now that we know where each other is, I will now continue. So sorry about that. So we compare our weaknesses to other people's strengths a lot of the time. Or, I'm not going to go into judgment, but sometimes we do it vice versa. We flip it around. But what I've come to understand is that I can't do that, because first of all, we only show our strengths. Nobody knew what my weaknesses were, because I didn't even know what my weaknesses were, because I was so afraid of them I wouldn't even look into them. I would never have considered dancing or speaking or being on a call like this. I would have never considered it before, because it was so I was so afraid of it that I just didn't even have it on my radar of things in life. It was something other people did. And I would watch, like, for example, I would watch my daughters dance on stage, and it was very beautiful to me, and it would move me to tears. And that was as far as I thought of it. When I realized that the thing that moved me to tears was because that was something that I desired in my own life, was to be able to not necessarily get up on stage and dance, but to move my body and to feel comfortable in my skin. That was the desire that I had, so much that it moved me to tears. And so I want you to think for a second, what are those things that touch you like that? What are those things that move you to tears? What, maybe not even tears. Maybe it just makes you feel for a moment like you could fly. You know, I believe I could fly. Maybe you have that feeling for just a minute. Maybe you're watching somebody in their glory, and you're like, wow, that is really awesome. And that's all it is. It's just awesome, and it's fun to watch. But then there's other people that we watch that we're like, you know what, that could be me, or that should be me, or I could do that, or I want to do that. And as soon as we have that thought, then we're like, no, I could never do that. And we turn it off. We don't allow it. And that right there is anxiety. It's the beginning of anxiety. And I was at a point, and I've heard so many people say, but I don't even know what I want. And that's because of the strong anxiety that we've stopped ourselves from allowing ourselves to feel. And one of the things that I've come to realize is that those things that move me to tears, those things that make me feel like I could do that, those things that make me want to fly, to laugh, to run, you know, to rejoice, not just enjoyment, but like I actually feel it from deep inside, are actually what my gifts are. Those are my strengths. I didn't know I had those strengths until I started to really tap into it. And so what I've learned to do, and JoJo and I were having this conversation, you know, just like, what is it? Who am I? What do I want to be? Sorry, I'm going to move in the dark for a second. And it's hard to know sometimes. It's like, I don't know who I want to be. I don't know who I am. What's my next step in life? And so we were having this conversation about what my experience has been with that. And sorry, I'm going to share this story. And I've shared it before on the podcast. I've shared it on different calls. So if you've heard it before, bear with me. But I think the more we listen to things sometimes, the more it really sinks into how it does apply to us. So I had this dream. I didn't really know what it meant, but I just knew I wanted to be positive, and I wanted to be confident, and I wanted to be able to feel comfortable in my skin. I wanted to be able to show up and to not worry about what other people thought, and to not worry about what I thought other people thought. That was even worse, because I've come to find that it's not what other people think of me, it's what I think they think of me that stops me. And so I wasn't that. I really, really, really wanted it. And so I had been working really hard and found myself on the beach for my 26th, wedding anniversary with my husband. And I thought I had moved to a point where I was confident. But I found myself on a beach in a swimsuit and having a major anxiety attack. Like, I don't think I had felt like anything like that for a really long time. And here I am supposed to be having fun with him and enjoying time with him. And all I could think about was how I didn't feel that way. I felt really afraid to be there. I didn't want to be there. I mean, do you guys recognize the feeling? I can still feel it in my heart right now, right? It's just like that. Ugh. And I had a decision to make because I'm here. It's my anniversary. This is like really ridiculous. And I thought that I was more than this. I thought that I had moved beyond this further than I had. And so I was really at a point where I had to make a decision. I can stay here. I can be in this place all the time, and I can continue to miss out on the joy I could have, or I can figure out how to get out of it. And so my question at first was, I already know how to create a vision, and I know how to move toward the vision, but the thing is I don't know what it feels like to be confident. So I don't know what I'm moving toward. I have no idea. So I text people, what does it feel like to be confident? And I texted my coach, David Wood, like, just tell me what it feels like to be confident, and then I could do it. And he's like, I don't know. What do you want it to feel like? And it ticked me off at first. I'm like, this is not helping me. And so I reached out to another mentor, asked him the same question, and he's all, I don't know what it feels like for you. What do you want it to feel like? And so it was really frustrating to me, but the thing that I got to do was to decide what I wanted confidence to feel like. And I was actually, in my anger, I have found for me, and I don't know if this works for you, but when I get to a point when I'm just mad at those kind of answers, I'm like, you're not helping me, so I'm going to prove you wrong.
Okay, did we lose you?
I think I'm back. Am I here?
There you are.
Sorry. Okay.
No worries.
I'm like, okay, so I do things to prove people wrong, to prove that what you're telling me isn't going to work. And that to me, I found is like one of my power tools. So if you ever feel that frustration, like, you know what, you're ticking me off, I don't want to ask you anymore because you don't understand me. When I feel that feeling, I know that that's the step I have to take. And sometimes I trick myself by doing it in spite just to prove somebody wrong. I don't know if anybody else has that same attitude, but if you notice that attitude in yourself, maybe pay attention. That might be your tool to get you moving forward. Anyway, so I'm like, fine, I'm just going to prove to you that's not, whatever, I'll just do it on my own. And I started studying, and I found the scripture that says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, not seen. And I realized that I had always quoted the scripture to myself as faith is the essence of things hoped for. And so I just skipped past that because essence is abstract, and it didn't make any sense to me. So I just went to the not seen, and I knew that confidence wasn't seen for me. I already knew that part. So I was like, what am I missing? But when I read faith is the substance of things, all of a sudden I'm like, substance is something I can hold on to. That's actually a thing. So substance of things hoped for. Okay, what does hope mean? It's something that I want. So what do I want? I want to feel confident. But all of a sudden, for some reason, that gave me something tangible to hold on to, and I realized I got to decide what it felt like. And so I was able to look to other people who I saw as confident. So one of those people was David Wood. And one of those people, I'm like, he's a man, so I don't really relate to him. Another person was Susan Sly. Actually, JoJo, you were one of the people. I remember you being on stage during, I wasn't there, but during the leadership conference, and I saw the video, and you were very confident. I'm like, okay, JoJo's confident. She does things because she wants to do them. She has fun doing it. She doesn't care what people think. Susan Sly, she gets up on there with so much power. She stands with her shoulders back. She walks like she means what she's talking about. She pulls her hair back sometimes. And so I started thinking, well, if she's confident and that's how she acts, maybe I'll start acting like that. And so I did. So in the swimsuit thing, I started thinking, okay, if somebody was confident, how would they act? Well, they'll go on the paddleboard with their husband instead of sitting on the beach freaking out. Or they'd go scuba diving instead of sitting on the beach freaking out. So I allowed myself to do that. And I moved into the action that actually brought a sense of confidence to me. And it was amazing. I'm like, wow, if this works, I'm going to keep doing it. So then it was a time when I was going to go on stage, and I really didn't feel like I belonged there. I didn't even think that I was wanted there, other than the fact that Dave wanted me there. So he invited me. That's how I felt. I don't deserve to be here. I don't belong here. And I'm having this moment of panic, and it's almost my turn to go on. And so I'm like, well, I don't have time right now to worry about this and to freak out. I've got to get on stage. So I pulled out my Susan Sly. I was like, okay, Susan Sly, what would she do? Stand up tall, walk out there with confidence, and just speak. And it was the most amazing feeling. And so what I'm trying to say right now to you is, there's a few things. Number one, find that thing inside of you that makes you cry, or that makes you light up, or that you can't stop thinking about, or that makes you smile when you think about it. That thing. So you can close your eyes for a second and just think of all of the things that either as a child you remember that you used to dream about. When somebody told me to do that exercise, I couldn't, because I still will say I was never a child. I don't remember pretending. I just don't. So it didn't work for me. So I had to just remember those moments, like watching my kids and feeling those feelings I had as they performed that lit me up. Things like that. So either remember something that you've done that you used to do that you loved, or something that you've watched somebody else do and you've wanted to do that. Think about that thing and write that down. And choose that thing to be the thing that you do. Because the next thing is anxiety. Really, the definition of it is thinking about something and creating a story about what it's going to be like and living in that story. And it's fear. It's resistance. It's, just, oh my gosh, what's going to happen if? And the more we worry about it, the harder, the scarier it gets. And it's really debilitating when we stay there longer. So moving right into it and making the decision to do it right now changes the anxiety. It gets rid of it. So acting on it. So now you can think of somebody who is that's doing that. So for me, it was Susan Sly. And now what are the actions that she does? This may not be what makes her feel confident inside of her, but my idea of what confidence looks like when I watch Susan Sly What are those actions? What are those things that she does? And if you guys were at Celebration, you'll remember that Tony Robbins talked about the same thing. Body movement puts us in a state. And so what's the state? Do those actions and just, so write down what is it that you admire in somebody else that gives you the appearance of who you already know that you can be or that you are, but you're just not being that. And move out of the anxiety, move out of thinking about it all the time and just start doing it. And I promise you, it's so magic. It's just like when, you know, being on the paddleboard, going from being freaked out about it to having a really nice time in a matter of seconds because I just made the decision to do it instead of think about it. And the third thing is, I don't remember. I know what it is. Hang on. I just lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness. Oh, the next thing is, now I want you to remember times in your own life. So let's see. For me, I'm going to stick with the confidence theme and thinking of times I really want to be confident. But when today or when yesterday was I confident? Or when in my life before have I had a confident moment? So when I was in high school, I was really confident with my grades. And anytime we had a test, I was confident that I was going to do well. So that was a memory. Okay, I do know how to be confident. I've done it before. When I was, I ran for student government and I had to give a speech. And I had so much fun doing it. I was very confident in that moment. So, okay, there's another time. You know, it's going back and remembering times you were confident and going, okay, see, I already know how to do it. I don't have to be afraid of it. And it might only have lasted 30 seconds, but there was 30 seconds of confidence in my life. Okay? So go back and remember those times that you have already been the thing that you want to be. And so you don't have to worry about whether or not you can do it because you already have proven to yourself that you can. Does that make sense? Okay, so those are the 3 steps. Think of what you want to be or who you want to be or that you know that you are. Write those things down. Find somebody else who emulates that for you and write down the characteristics of what that person physically looks like when they're being that. And then copy it and just be that. And then the third thing is to find times in your own life that you've already been that and celebrate those moments. Remind yourself that you've done it before and you can do it again. And I promise you, those are the things that help you move from thinking about it and worrying about it and stressing about it and being afraid about it to actually just doing it and realizing that 99%, I think it's 95% of the things that we worry about, that we're afraid of, never really happen. But the more we think about it, we relive it, and it happens over and over and over again in our mind. And we're living this tragedy, this terrible thing that never will happen, but we still are going through all of the emotions as if it really did happen. So when we realize that, it's like, why am I doing that to myself? You know, why don't I just step into the fear and do it and find out that it didn't really exist in the first place? Of that 5%, when, you know, it does really happen, I think it's 69% of that is not as bad as we thought it would be. So, for example, Jojo and I were at a conference and we went bungee jumping together. I don't even know if it's considered bungee jumping. We were at a scout ropes course. It was like a 30-foot pole. But for me, that was like, holy cow, you know? And I'm standing at the bottom of the pole and I'm thinking, I can stand here and freak out about this forever, or I can just get up the pole. So I just said, I'm going next. And I climbed up the pole. And then I jumped off because if I thought about it, it was freaky. But if I just did it, and then it was over, and I'm like, wait, I didn't even get to experience the fall. Like, I wanted to do it again. I actually did it twice because I wanted to do that again because I missed it the first time, right? So it was like not as bad as I thought it would be. Not only that, but I like it. I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. Same with pole dancing. To tell you the truth, the only reason I started doing that is because my coach had told me over and over and over again, you should just try it. And then I had other people saying, you know what, you should, like random people come up to me, you know what you should do? You should try pole dancing. And I'm like, why is this a theme in my life? So then I went to that brat inside of myself and I'm like, I'm going to prove every single one of you wrong. And I'm just going to show you that I'm going to hate it and then I'm going to be bad at it and I won't love it. And in my first spin, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And now I'm like, why did I yell and freak out about it for so long? Why didn't I just go do it? And it's just doing those little things prove to me that it's never as bad as we think it's going to be. And one last example, and this is Ariel right here. Oh. I know. Everybody knows your story. Well, I think everyone on Facebook. So she was just recently diagnosed with end-stage kidney disease. And it went from knowing that she didn't feel good, to we have to do something right now. And when was it when they went home? Last Wednesday or Tuesday night, they said there will be a point, probably sooner than later, that you'll either need to go on dialysis or have a kidney transplant. So we left thinking we know it's coming, and it was scary. Okay. Then we get to St. George and we go to the emergency room and we find out basically you need dialysis yesterday. So you're going to show up at the hospital tomorrow morning. We're going to insert this catheter and you're going to have dialysis. And that night, I mean, that moment right before I climbed up the bungee thing to jump was probably the most intense of the fear ever, but I did it anyway. This is one of those things that she didn't have a choice. I mean, I guess you always have a choice, but really, she just had to show up at the hospital and start and get it done. And by the time, Ariel, when we were done, knowing what it was like, did it help ease your mind a little bit? Knowing what it's like instead of wondering what it's going to be like. Now she knows what it's like, and it's still hard. What? Yeah. We had a moment at the hospital when she realized, oh my gosh, this is really happening to me, and it was really emotional. But then once we sat in the chair at the dialysis center, the really nice nurses were there. They explained everything they were doing, and she sat there for a few hours and had this dialysis machine going. She's like, oh, you know what? I don't even feel it. She said, I looked over and saw that it was blood coming out of my body, and I had to turn, and not watch it. But I didn't even know it was happening. And it was a lot more peaceful, wasn't it? It's more like, okay, I can do this. Even though it's hard, I can still do it. And so it was thinking about it and worrying about it and wondering what it's going to be like was way worse, don't you think, than actually doing it? Yeah, she's nodding her head. So thanks for letting me share your story, but I think it's already out there. Anyway, so that's basically what I have to share, and I know we're coming up on time, but it's really a matter of deciding if I want to stay afraid or if I just want to do it and get it over with, and that's how I deal with anxiety. Jojo, thanks for letting me share that.
Thank you, because when we're there, we're all in story. None of it's true, right? It's all made up stuff. Crazy. Oh, thank you for sharing all that. We actually have 3 minutes, so if anybody wants to ask a question, or Liddy, you want to chime in with anything, or here, let me take you off speaker view so I can see what's going on here. All right. If anybody has any questions, or Liddy, I can unmute you if you want to chat. Yeah? Okay, you're on.
So, Cary, again, it's a delight to actually just watch your whole persona, just like your whole being has shifted, and you have a dance on the outside. I'm believing you have a dance on the inside, and I have to say that many people have just come to know and love and appreciate you, and I just have to say you're just so beautiful, and just I know that each and every person has all of that within them, and I just love the fact that you forgave yourself, or you gave yourself self-expression and saw that, you are all possibility. And so that's what we're enjoying. And that's what you shared tonight. And I got so much from what you said. Just do it. I love it.
Just do it. Thank you, Liddy. Anybody else? We have 1 minute. Okay, so we'll do this. If anybody has any questions or you want to ask Cary anything, then on the Facebook page, if you want to type in some questions or ask anything, we can, and she'll go back into the page and answer some questions if anybody has any. And
yeah, I totally will. I'll just say that Nike stripe is more than just a cool stripe on your shoes. It's a reminder. So if you don't have a pair of Nikes, maybe go grab those.
Awesome. Just do it. Just do it. That's going to be the name of this video. Just do it. Thank you, Cary, so much for taking time out with us. And no matter what, it's always to remember that the fear, every awesome thing is on the other side of that 1 second of fear. Step through it and everything changes. Thank you so much. Sending big love to you. Ariel, sending big loves to you. Everybody, big kiss. Mwah. Thank you, guys. Have an amazing night. Love.